There we go. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Divided, Survived, and Thriving, where I have candid and soulful chats about turning the painful process of divorce into a positive force in your life. I am Laila Aitken, a divorcee, a divorce coach, and the founder of Split.fyi, an online divorce community rich in resources and information for anyone going through the divorce process. There were times when I thought the experience of divorce would break me, but it didn't. And I came out stronger than ever. And I am here to share with you guys conversations with survivors of divorce that are willing to share their stories and how they overcame their battle scars to achieve peace, purpose in their lives. Divorce helped empower them, and it taught me what it meant to be my own best advocate. And I hope it can do the same for you. Now, without further ado, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you today's one and only Lauren Wallett. Lauren is an inimitable creative business coach, writer, speaker, who I have had the great pleasure to work with. She runs the Creative Business School, the place where creativity meets business to optimize services-based businesses online. Her divorce story was the catalyst to her great change in her life. Her journey through it all has helped shape who and what she is doing today. She attracts what she wants out of life through magnetism, taking action, and doing what she says. Today, we will find out how she turned her story of divorce into the force that ultimately helps her to support so many get unstuck, reinvent themselves, and create a business lifestyle of their dreams. Lauren, I'm so grateful that you were able to take time on your busy, busy schedule to speak to my audience.
Sure.
And I know you personally. I've worked with you. You definitely are that force. And I know that, like everyone, you have a story. And I really do feel that the purpose of this podcast, obviously, is to show and shed some light on the fact that where it can feel so daunting when you're going through something so emotional and dramatic as a divorce, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that process can be also exciting. So let's talk about your start of it all.
Yeah, the start was incredibly painful. So I married someone that I'd known since I was 13 years old, and he was like the Danny Zuko of the world to me. And as like a musical theater lover, I thought like he was just the coolest person in the world. And I couldn't believe when I finally got my chance at 19, when like he noticed me. And we were together from 20, married by 25, which was an absolute deadline for me. So I was very focused on being married. I wanted a house and husband like more than anything. And I've always felt that since that divorce, I've like reverse aged backwards because I was so serious at that age. So I was like 45 when I was 25. Like that was my mentality. I wanted a big house. I wanted to throw dinner parties. I was like very focused on my business. I built and sold 2 businesses by 26, like very driven. So when we got divorced when I was 27, it was like a devastating choice that I made, especially because it was a choice. And what felt unusual for me at the time was that I was in love with him. He was gorgeous. He was super successful. There was no cheating, abuse, addiction. There was nothing crazy other than I knew that that just wasn't my life. It just wasn't going to be the life for me. And I wanted something else. And I didn't even know what that was other than I was pulled. They say in The Woman Who Ran with Wolves, you hear the call to return home and you have to go. So it's like my spirit was calling me somewhere else, and I didn't know what that meant. So I did feel like I was going a bit crazy, like, why am I leaving this? But I was also very heartbroken at the time because we were both so equally ambitious. It felt like our life had become about creating this precinct that he was building, and I was giving a lot of myself to him and his vision and his dream and his life. And I was like, you're amazing and all that, like, love it. But there's something I'm meant to be doing here. That's like my own journey. And I'm giving all my life force to you. And I'm not like getting any love in return, because it was like, we were just like ambitious. Like there was love, but it was almost like mutual respect of like, I had never met someone as ambitious as me, who wanted as much as I wanted. So we were like we were a great
Right.
partnership, that everything was very business and strategic. And so, yeah, I left him, and it was devastating. It took me like probably 3 years to start to heal. And even in that time, we were very back and forth. And then like, were we going to get back together? Should we try this again? Should we go back to counseling after the divorce? It was like, we just couldn't like let it go.
Right.
Yeah. And then eventually like he married someone else.
He did. And within those 3 years.
Yes, because when our final like secret get back together that was like not allowed to be discussed was after 3 years. And then when that like ended, he was like, no, I'm just gonna like, that girl's not gonna leave me. Like, you're gonna do it again. And I was like, I won't do it again. But I mean, I probably would have done it.
Yes. No, it's interesting. And okay, and I have a question for you, because I didn't even know that part of the story, in the sense that, you know, to come to that realization to leave something that in all essence we're taught that is a perfect situation. Let's face it. There's not many women who say, hey, I got married to like this ambitious, good looking, driven, you know, especially at that age. I mean, that's what we're mostly are all looking for. And also to a certain degree to someone who can look after you. He's totally capable, right? Should you let him, and should you want him? So there's something inside of you, and I know you. So even if you didn't know it back then, for sure, I get it, because you are like, nobody needs to take care of me. I can take care of myself. But did you talk to other people about that? What did people say if you're like, I'm not happy, or shouldn't be in this relationship, or I need more?
Yeah, we went to 3 different therapists. I was very open about it. I was speaking to I was very close to the family. I was speaking to his mother about it. I'm like, I'm going to leave him. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't do this. Like, and I was open with him about it. I remember we came to America on like a holiday for his cousin's wedding, and then in Hawaii, and we're going around, and I was literally Googling divorced under 30 and showing him the articles and saying like, is this going to be us? Because like, I can't carry on. So it was full transparency. There was nothing hidden. Like, I told him everything that I was experiencing, because they didn't feel like there was any love there. Like, he felt that he didn't have capacity to love me. Like, it was just, I couldn't feel it from him. And now after doing like my own like therapy and healing and all of that, maybe I wouldn't have been able to feel that from anyone. I'm sure he loved me with everything he had, and it still wasn't enough for what I wanted. Now, I don't know if that's because what I'm wanting is too much, or because he genuinely has that little to give, but it's just, yeah. It's like, it was all very
a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, but that's it.
Yeah, we spoke about it, but there was definitely I remember the one particular conversation. We lived on this farm, so we had 2 homes. We had a penthouse in the inner city, in the area he was developing. We had a huge 5-bedroom like property that was on covers of magazines in Lanseria. Wow. Beautiful. We had 2 other properties that we were renting out at that stage, and we're looking to build a 5th. So we'd have, it was just like nuts. We were very property focused. And one of the women said to me, she was like, you don't leave. This is when you have an affair or you get on medication. She's like, but you don't leave them. And it was just at moments, and I was like, I see where this goes. I see this vibe. And then another like friend who said to me, I had left him for like a month or something to go back home to just like reassess, and I just like taken a time out. And when I came back and I was throwing another party, she said to me, the next time you go crazy and have a breakdown, let me know. I'll pack my bags and move right into your life. And I looked around at these like friends that I had, these like girls who all wanted what I had, and that I was being perceived as crazy because something in like my soul and my heart was telling me like this isn't right. There's something else here. And it's like, you're crazy, like have another drink, get medicated, or sleep with someone else. And I was like, this is fucked. Like, this is mad.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was perceived as mad, and all it made me do was go, this whole thing is mad. Like, it all was so obviously wrong. Like, that's not the life of integrity that I want to live. That's not the love that I want to have. And like, I wasn't hiding anything from him. He knew where I was at. So yeah, it was like this unraveling, but it was a very beautiful divorce because it was so truthful and honest and so painful for both of us, because I kept hoping he would develop some more emotion. And he knew that he couldn't also. He's like, I don't have, with what I'm building, I don't have the energy to give to this relationship. Like, I want to make stuff. And I got it. I know what that feels like to want to make stuff like that. Like, go ahead. I mean, you'll fail, but go ahead.
Love it.
Because it has to be,
Okay.
so last thing, like you have to be,
Yeah.
the reason I say you have to fail, just in case that sounded terrible, it has to be rooted in love. Whatever you do has to come from a place of truth and love. It cannot run dry on just your own ambition. So that was also a disconnect for us.
I agree. I agree. Authenticity is a word that is thrown out a lot. What does it really mean? It really means that. It really means that you put your love into something that you know how to feel that. You know what it means to you, right? Because if you look at everything in a periphery, like your friends did, or like people around you did, who's like, well, you've got everything. Why would you want to leave it? That is that you're not attached to that. You're not attached to a relationship. It should be a relationship full of love, understanding, compassion, togetherness, affection. There's so many little things in a formula. It's not just about, okay, we want a goal because we want 5 houses, 10 houses by 5 years. That's great. That's a business. Totally understandable. I think there needs to be a mix with all of it. I think that all couples should have some kind of vision of where they want to do with their money, how they want to do it. Like all marriages are a business, but at the same time, the reason that sets them apart from a business is the fact of love, affection, connection, all of those things. So it makes complete sense to me, but I'm sitting, 12 years after a divorce that I went through, understanding, working with so many countless amount of people going through their divorce, that I completely can understand it. But people who don't or haven't, or are attached to, oh, this is what we do. We get married, we construct a life together. There's a little unhappiness inside of me, but that's okay. I'm just going to sit next to the 5 pools that I have and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they can push that under the carpet.
Yeah. And it's like, life just isn't about finding that one person and happily ever after. It's just a bizarre paradigm that's been constructed that like that is happiness. Like it's not. Someone can add to your life, but it absolutely doesn't complete anything. It's like, I really love that comment by Cher when she's being interviewed, and she said, her mom said, why don't you just settle down and marry a nice rich man? And she said, Mom, I am a rich man. It's like, that's how I always felt. I'm like, I am a rich man. Like, who's going to take care of me better than me? Like, I really, like, I've never met anyone who can take care of me better than me. Like, it's like, and not in a bad way, just in like a spoiling way and a treat way. Like, I do live a romantic lifestyle. It is very filled with pleasure, and like, it's very important to me. So if someone's going to add to that and add value and complement the situation, beautiful. But if I'm feeling that suck and that drain, that it's being taken away, it's not worth it. And you can still love someone and not have them in your life. I have a lot of love for that husband. And it's like, I never married anyone else, so I'm still kind of loyal, I guess. Like, like it wasn't like I left him for someone else. I just left him for me. I wanted me more than I wanted to give myself to him. So it's, there are other ways to show up.
No, but I absolutely love that, because I mean, this could lead into a short discussion before we talk about, where your journey led you to. But I do, talking about relationships afterwards, everybody has their story with divorce. Some are a lot worse than others. But finding that space, what you're talking about is getting to know who you are and what you want to attract as well. But how do you feel about ever settling down again? I know this is a loaded question that I did not prepare you for, but I think it's important, because a lot of people come to me and like, I absolutely never want to get married again. I never want to do this again. Or there are others who are saying, I can't wait to get married again. I want to date right away. It's like the ink isn't even dried off of the divorce, and they're ready to just jump into a very serious relationship. Everybody has their own way. Well, what was your take on that? On afterwards?
I was dating immediately. I was like starved for attention and affection. So I was like immediately dating. And then recreating very similar things. So suddenly, like the first guy that I was with, the rebound, I mean, I'd moved to his farm and was redoing his kitchen within like a month or two. I was doing the same thing. And I was like suddenly living in isolation on a farm with a guy who's always working, dealing with the decor. And I'm like, what? I just left this. Like, and he doesn't have as good style as like we had. Like, this isn't even my vibe. Like, no. I was like, and then he was like super racist. And I was like, this is awful. No. So I definitely went, I'm an extreme person. I went like, goodbye, I'm going to go and heal myself. No, I went like, goodbye, I'm empty. Can somebody please fill me up? And like just on a rampage of dating. And then like turned that into a whole thing where I had a blog about dating and like writing articles about it and like expressing every new emotion that I had and putting it out there for the world. I remember my mom saying to me, like at the time when Facebook was still like a big thing, I would go out and I would like pose with all these pictures every time like a guy would buy me a drink or I'd be out, and she was like, please can you stop posting those pictures of you like taking shots at the bar? She's like, you look so unhappy, it is just obvious. Because I was like, look at me, I'm living my best life. You know, I was like dying, I was like publicly dying inside. And I was very open about that too. People would say, how are you doing? And I'd say, I'm a basket case, I'm a mess. And I was just publicly like fucking out, like, because it was all just so difficult. So no, it wasn't, I didn't know how to do divorce neat and clean and preserved. I did it like very messy, very on display and very expressed, and I got it all out. And I realized during that process that like, it's totally okay to be that messy person or to have all these feelings. There is nothing wrong with that, like at all. Of course you're going to be heartbroken. Like, how do you contain pain? You don't, it spills everywhere. It's like one of the slipperiest substances. And I was definitely looking to replace that loss with something else. And it's been a huge journey of like letting that go, to realize that there, unless it's an addition, that's an enhancement, there's nothing that can complete any missing part of me. So yes, I've always been open to getting remarried. I really actually thought I'd be remarried by 37. That's this year. And I mean, still like, there's still a month's time. You never know. Maybe I will. Yeah, you never know. Like I could definitely see me being the kind of person who's like, oh, 3 weeks, I'm marrying this person. That's like definitely my style still. I'm open to it, but I'm not open to traditional patriarchal 1950s marriage anymore. Like, you know, a guy must say to me, make me a plate, or can you save me some pizza, or, oh, you're a good cook for me. And I'm just like, used to like feel like a test that I had to pass. And I'd say, I'm so subservient and I can cook so well. And now I'm just like definitely not. Like, you know, I'm not interested in that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, those old rules just don't apply. Like, we're either equal partners, like best friends having a good time together, or I'd rather just do it solo or with my girlfriends where we can all be all self-sufficient. But 100%. I don't want this whole, you know, I'm not looking for a pet or a baby if I'm looking for a partner. Like, yeah. Right. So yeah, I'm open to marriage totally, but I mean, I want an exceptional man. Like, I already married the most exceptional one I could ever find. Nothing's come close to him in a decade of even leaving him. So now I need to find someone way, way better and more suited to me. That hasn't happened.
No, but it will. I mean, and this is a thing, part of it, and my opinion is always knowing it. It's knowing what you want. I mean, you attract what you want. You attract it ultimately. Plus, you're so busy. Where are you going to carve the time? I mean, now let's go into that.
I mean, I live a very relaxed life, but like, it's very, it's just a very gentle, easy life, I guess. And I think the thing is, like, I'm an extrovert when it comes to my work or when I'm doing creative stuff, but when it comes to real life, I'm not putting myself out there with that. I don't look for it. Like, I'll be out working on my laptop or on my headphones or doing what I'm doing. And I'm very like in my own fantasy reality of creativity, that I'm not like available for a man to come up to me. I mean, the idea of a man coming up to me at a coffee shop, I'd be like, what? Like I'm doing something else. So I'm not really, I guess, open. And on dating apps, which I've tried, a lot of like weirdos. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's not I don't need to solve that part. That'll happen when it happens.
Well, you're a writer. And so this is interesting. So a lot of times I always use writing as a technique of trying to, attract what you want. So there are a lot of times if you go down on paper, somebody is ready to date, you know, you sit there and you think, okay, really pen to paper, write exactly what that man looks like or that woman looks like. Talk us through it, you know, write through it. And so when you're writing it down, all of a sudden it's like you're creating that person. And I know with your creative genes and your writing skills, have you ever tried doing that? Like, you write down on the thing and this is the man.
Yeah, I've done that multiple times. And like, I always feel like maybe there is like a dating book or something inside of me, because I find traditional dating advice like the opposite of what's ever worked for me. And I think it's an issue of control. And I think there's that idea of if I can define it, I like to define to create, but there's also a thing of like, oh, I can manifest, which can be like used as, I can control this. I can determine exactly what he is, and then that'll happen. And if I just fixate, like the thing will magically appear like that. And it's like, I want to be open to the unexpected. If it's within my scope of understanding, it's too small. I want something beyond my wildest expectations. And all I do when I write those things is a culmination of like the best bits of like people I've already met. And I want something that doesn't yet exist, that I don't know what it is. Like
Right.
I've dated hundreds of guys. Like I know a lot of different ways, and I can write up any kind of character. I want something completely unexpected. And for me, it's that feeling space. And what have been the most magnificent, enchanting relationships for me are those ones that have completely come by surprise, where it's not what I've expected. It's like, but there's this pull or this love or this unlocking that needed to take place that on paper would never have been the person that I've fallen in love with.
Right.
So I've been in love twice since my ex-husband, and it's like, I couldn't have written them. Like they were not, they're not what I'm looking for. And that's changed. And I think also that it's less on that physical appearance for me, although I know exactly what I'd like physically. It's a feeling that I'm looking for. And I've had to really work in my life to let go of any form of control. Like just let that go. Like I just go with what's happening, trust the unknown, listen to my intuition one step at a time. But like, it's not like destination man, if I know what he is and then just cancel it. Like I don't have laser vision towards this like ultimate guy. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I'm also one of those who are the element of surprise. I think some people, I think part of it is some people don't know what they want and who they are. And I think a process of understanding what you would want beside you, it also kind of helps you understand, like you said earlier, it's like, I know I don't want to be, having to cook for somebody, having to do those things. I mean, those are all very legitimate things, because when you find somebody who expects that from you, okay, that's not how I operate. But some people don't.
Totally.
They just fall into it, right?
Yeah, I suppose if you've never done analysis, it's good to do an inventory on yourself and work out those things. And even if it has to be in reference to what someone else is, I'd say whatever you want in someone, become those things in yourself. Like definitely start there at least. Like you do that, and then you have room for something delicious, like the idea of a man being a dessert, not the whole meal. It's like, I'm a whole meal, and then it's like, oh, what a lovely addition. That's a tasty treat, but it's definitely not necessary. Like it's not going to sustain me. It's just an enhancement.
It's an enhancement. I love it. I love that. That's okay. So now, obviously, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, and your creative gene is unbelievable. But it is. Talk to us a little bit. Okay, so we know the journey you've left. You had really, if you're okay with sharing, I know that there was a bit of rough time, and you did mention it earlier that you're out in bars, drinking and doing all those things and taking photos and putting it on social and all that. What was your breaking point of realizing, okay, this is it. I'm reinventing myself. I'm redoing something. I'm stopping this life and recreating it.
There's been a lot of like reinventions. Like, in fact, someone from my past today wrote on my Facebook saying, so basically you've died and gone to heaven. Because I was talking about Hermosa being heaven where I live. And I was like, I've died multiple times. I've gone to multiple heavens. This is the best level I've yet. But each time it had been that. So the going back to Durban, I would say after the divorce was the dark days, like 3 years of darkness, debauchery, insanity. Then I up-leveled to Cape Town. That was definitely an upgrade, but then that was a whole new level of partying and like insanity. And then when I came to America unexpectedly, that was a massive shift. So coming here and not leaving here was a gigantic shift. But my actual day where I'd say my life changed forever it was the 23rd of December, 2017. And that was my spiritual and emotional rock bottom, where I thought, okay, like it was that same feeling of, I want to go into a future that I can't understand, but I know that it's nothing that I've ever experienced before. And it's weird. I wrote this poem in 2010 called I Don't Know Where I'm Going, but it's nowhere that I've been. And I read this to my ex-husband then going, I'm going on this journey, and like, there's going to be different people, and it's nothing that I know. And I experienced that again, but in a more dramatic way. I was like, okay, everything needs to shift. And that was the last day I ever drank alcohol. Like that was my last glass and a half of wine I ever had. And the insane thing was that when I spoke to my ex-husband, like a few months later, and I said to him, I hit my spiritual rock bottom. That was the saddest day of my life. He said to me, that's the day my daughter was born. It was amazing. So
I have sure.
Yeah.
That's
so like, I was like, oh my God, I was like, that's incredible. It's like, it was like the spell was broken and his daughter was born and I was like released, it was like, because I think I was still just hanging on to like something in my head or this guilt that I don't know what, but I was like, oh my God. It's like, new me and his kid are the same age. So I'm always thinking of her in my thoughts and prayers when I think of like how old I am in my new way. It's the same as her. You know, we share that.
It's like
Yeah.
you're celebrating her birthday in a different way. I love it. Your
Yeah.
birthday too.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's like something really special for me. And I think that that's kind of miraculous and amazing. And just like synchronicity, like certain people are soul ties, like in your life. And real love is never lost. It just incarnates differently. And so, yeah, there was that time. And since then, it's just been this journey of expansion, of letting go and just creating space and capacity for more delight, more pleasure, more play, not making it so hard on myself. And something also, which is another link with this divorce, is on our honeymoon, we came to LA and the first stop was Hermosa at his cousin's beautiful mansion for a party. And I remember coming to Hermosa being like, wow, like this is the best area ever. We were both like blown away. And we thought we'd live in Venice when we moved to America because Venice was cool, but Hermosa was way beyond my scope. And the other day I was walking on the promenade and I was like, I really live here. Like it happened. And it's me, and I had this beautiful home, and I had this gorgeous lifestyle. And it feels like it's such I'm on a romantic holiday, or like this could be a honeymoon, my life. That's what it feels like. And it's so beautiful that I was always going to have that. It's not with him, but the feeling is what I wanted to feel with a man, the way I feel now.
Right.
Like
With yourself.
I have that feeling. I don't know how it's even allowed. Like it feels illegal. Like last night I was sitting in the sky was white and there was mist, and I just had a pedicure and a great coffee from this gorgeous coffee shop. And I was having a slice of the most unbelievable pizza, and there are twinkling lights wrapped around palm trees. Yeah. And I'm like, how is this my life? Like it would have been the most romantic date I'd ever had, but I'm having it with myself. And it's like, it's pleasure beyond what I can comprehend experiencing. I'm like, I don't know how I get to feel like this. Like I always thought that these feelings were only unlocked with someone you love. I didn't know that I could have them with me, like anytime. And then it carries on. Then I come home and it's hot chocolate with marshmallows and cozy blankets, and I've got candles lit, and I'm watching like amazing trash TV. And I'm like, how, like, it's just like, it often just, it's heaven. It's heaven. Yeah, maybe I died and I don't know it yet. Like literally, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was like, you're dead. This is not real.
Well, I mean, even acknowledging it, honestly, I think part of it is that it's a really daunting process to date yourself. Honestly, most people don't do it. And I know that, and I always say this, I'm like, where would you take yourself out if you're going to take yourself anywhere, right? Do that. Even if it's like a walk on the beach. You know, why does it have to be with somebody else sometimes? It really is so fun that you can do whatever you want. If you want to run, if you want to skip, if you want to hop, you want to do whatever, you create your own, right? Your own date. It's so amazing. I love it. And I love that you're doing that. I love where you're at, because honestly, your insightfulness, though, not everybody can get to it so fast. And I think that you didn't get to it so fast, to be honest. But what I'm saying is it's not an easy thing to acknowledge. We often go through, and I do the same, and we go through life and we do things and we just keep doing them, and we don't stop and think, oh my God, this was so amazing what I'm doing, and look where I'm at, and look what I get. Very hard to do it when you're in this vision, right? And so the capacity to do that is opening up, is what you're creating for yourself, which I think everyone should. And I think this is what you help a lot of people do ultimately, through coaching them, through being around them. I mean, your energy, your way of being, your creativity, all of it is, I don't know, people can get drunk in it, honestly. And I would say that
I'm a drug.
You're a drug. You're a drug. You definitely are. You're like the best cocktail on a beach. Trust me.
Yeah, I think that's the power of creativity, that it is so expansive, that it offers access to a new dimension between the binaries of black and white, yes and no, have to and should, these constraints we put on ourselves. Creativity like just peels that back and sends you an entirely new dimension where there are combinations of possibilities that you wouldn't have had access to as long as you're still using your mind and your logic and your thinking to get there. Like you can't see what's right in front of you because it's like a 360-degree view. It's like there's so much more going on. So like I feel like creativity is that access point, and it's incredible in your life and in your business, because that's the world. It's creation. It's bringing combinations together It's that amazing alchemy, and suddenly like, what? Like this is possible? It's like, yes, and this, and this, and this. And it's like, it's just yes, and more, please, thank you. And again, it's just incredible. And that's, for me, that's what I call, creativity.
Well, and I also say, and often say this, it's like when I'm helping somebody through the divorce process, not to take 100% emotion out of it, but you're rebuilding yourself. You're rebuilding yourself. That's a business. It's your own business, who you are, right? It's much like what you're doing. I mean, exactly to the soul level. Like, okay, well, what would you do if you were to start a business? Well, you think of an idea, you think of where you want to be, what you want to achieve, what the goals are, what this are, I'll let you talk through all of that because that's what your expertise are. But it's very much similar in recreating yourself as a person and what's around you and who you want around you and who do you want to work with, who do you want to talk with, who do you want to have a coffee with, who do you want to walk down the beach with, all of those things. It's a different energy, but it's the same thing. Like you're reconstructing it, right? So give us a little bit of insight of how, and I know this for a fact, because I know that I worked with you. You helped me tremendously get I get unstuck in a different way. Like I was stuck in this belief that I couldn't do it, or I'm too nervous, or I don't want to put myself out there, and who wants to listen to me anyway? Or, all this mind dump of negativity about me was going through my brain. It was like, it took someone like me for me to be like, okay, let me pull you out of that. Let's refocus things. So tell us a little bit about how, because I know that you did that for me, but what else do you do? Because I think people need to know that, because I think people even going through a divorce many times tell me, what do I do now? I have to go back. I cannot bear going back to my career job. I need to reinvent myself. I know I want to do this, or I want to do that. I just don't know how.
So I'd say, linking on from the business thing of like using that analogy, a great place to start is what's my business and what's not my business. So what's not your business is other people's business. It's not your business. So take the fixation off others and controlling others and changing others. And if only he did that, and why is this happening? And I can't believe that. And just focus on you, inside versus external. So go in, what's my business? What can I do today? What can I control? Myself. Can I control another human? No, that's why I'm divorced. Okay. I definitely can't control that. So let that shit go. Like focus on yourself only. And it also starts then, you start to prioritize yourself when you stop fixating on other businesses. Like, am I the president of the United States? Is that my business? It's not my business. Okay. Is this my business? It's not my business. What's my business? Today's my business. What can I do? So you start to focus like that on that journey of just bringing it in. And everything that I do with my clients, even when it comes to our business creative strategy, it's very much focused on activating your own creative genius, going into your own gems of wisdom, and then not being attached to making it about you, because while it's your business, it's also not about you. It's about what you're here to share and serve. So you're the delivery person. You're just delivering the gift that you are receiving and channeling from creative source. It's not yours to make up. So I'm not so attached to, if I'm in process of creating something new, and I'm always doing a reinvention, but I'm reinventing my whole social media strategy and I'm taking it to the next level. And it's like, now I need to experiment. Now that I've decided I'm going to go on this journey, I'm now going to experiment, fall over, get feedback, try again, because now I'm in the process of making and shaping. Nothing comes out fully formed. You grow everything. You give birth, and then it's this tiny little thing, and then you grow it. So with yourself, when you're this tiny new little thing that's just got divorced, and now like you're this tiny little baby, be gentle on yourself and kind and caring, and let you in your new incarnation experiment. And when you fall, scoop yourself up with like a hug and a kiss and be like, that was so good, try that again. And then you build the momentum and you keep going on this process, like ever learning. So it's like, it's very gentle, it's very experimental. And then when you're walking, or when you're feeling a bit more solid, it's really to keep remembering it's not really about you. It's about delivering that service and that gift through you for others. So, and when you take that off yourself, it's not then about how you look, how you sound, it's not about you. It's just about, am I showing up to give? Yes. And if your energy is in that place, people will feel that, and your energy doesn't lie. But if it's about, if you're too self-focused and wanting to get it right or prove anything or show up before you're ready, like look more put together than you are, it's just going to come off as inauthentic, as fake, as controlling, as awkward. And it's so much softer and easier just to release that and just show up anyway, like messy or not, unknowing or not. But that honesty and integrity is going to be a way more smooth sailing than trying to present a facade that isn't there. Like if I came out of my divorce and pretended that I wasn't like heartbroken, and I mean, I can't imagine pretending that. I wouldn't even know how to act that part. It was so obvious.
Right.
I was in
Right.
pain. It's like, okay, just express that. Yeah. And
No,
experiment with new ways of being. Like you said, date yourself, make some goals, try things. Maybe the writing works for you. Maybe it doesn't. Like date 100
right.
guys, be celibate for a year, whatever. Like, don't be so hard on what you're doing. There is no definitive way to do it. But definitely one piece of advice would be stop listening to external sources. Like, you know, all these men on social media telling you how to date, and they are so authoritative, and then you've got to buy their program. Like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Those men drive me insane. They don't know what they're saying. They're not right. Like, and you're getting attracted to them and thinking maybe you can date them because of the way they just know everything. It's like anyone who knows everything, stay away from that person. Just stay away from the
100%.
knowers and the guru.
100%.
You're your own guru.
Right.
You know, you're your own person.
No, I know. Interesting enough. I just read, I'm reading a book that it's How to Be a Monk. I don't know if you heard of it, but what resonated with me is really, you got to find that monk inside of you. Like you've got to find that, you know, that person inside of you that is just happy with you and who you are. And then that attraction to other people, it happens in that sense of things. But then you also rebuild your life because that confidence starts coming in. Listen, I'm not going to say I'm not nervous when I get on camera or talking in front of people. You know, I'm working through that. That's me being very, very authentic about it.
Yeah.
But I also know my mission and I understand the hurt and the pain that goes through divorce, okay, and separation and your life splitting and your life going into a whole another dimension. And it is really difficult, right, in many ways. And in that difficult, there is beauty because it is a learning curve. And I want to share all these conversations and your insights are golden because then people figure out like, you know what, actually, yeah, it's hard right now, but there is that light and I can do this. So a lot of times, and like you said, do not listen to the people around you. Don't listen to those voices, the family, the friends. They're not living your life. No one else is living your life but you. And then you attract the people that can help guide you, i.e. the coaches, i.e. somebody creative that come in and say, who can shed light on what you're already saying. I mean, a part of a process when I was working with you was actually, you're saying all of this and you don't even realize you're saying it.
Yeah, you're saying such incredible things. I was taking so many notes with you. It's like you've got so many stories, you've got so much stuff to share. It's like, but we can't see our own magnificence often until it's mirrored back. Yeah. So a coach or something like that is incredible to have. I'm so glad you're doing this work. And I think that there's a tendency with women, because we've grown up in the patriarch, that men are going to have the answers and they don't. And so if you're newly getting divorced, read books by women, read Women Who Run with the Wolves, bring your tribe of women around you and just get the nurturing and the love from that you need. Don't worry, there'll always be men, but you don't need them to dominate your choices, your decisions, your life. Like just get in touch with your own essence. Mending that is going to attract the right kind of man. Then this idea that someone knows something better than you and you've done something wrong, all those thoughts are patriarchal constructs which don't serve us. Like it's the antithesis of pleasure, and you want to be in pleasure when you're in pain. Like you need something gentle.
Yeah, I agree. That's amazing advice. Lauren, you're honestly, and I always say this when I met you, I was like, you know, you could be a coach of all things. I mean, with your experience and your life experience and your insights, you know, you really do help a lot of people in different stages of the game. And it's not necessarily somebody who just has a business idea. You know, it's really somebody who's like, hey, I know I want to serve. And I want more out of my life. And I know these are my skills. Help me, help me, Lauren. And I honestly, exactly. I also know a lot of very skilled therapists or coaches and so forth who, what's interesting is that their strong point is doing what they do, but not figuring out how to show they're nervous. They don't know how to put it together. They don't know, you know, it's getting that. They need that part of them to be unstuck as well, because that is a really, like, I could talk to anybody who's going through divorce for hours on the phone and help them through it. before I started this as a real career. And I did that all the time. So I was always confident in what I was doing and how I was helping people. But then it was all of a sudden like, oh, wait a minute, this is becoming a work, and this is becoming my job, and this is becoming my business. And now I'm creating a space that's going to house this community, you know, Split.fyi. And it's like, oh my God, now I'm not just a businesswoman, a coach, I'm all these things. And I was like, okay, I need somebody to just hold my hand a little bit and really help me get unstuck with this mind, I guess. The, you know, what is it? The little, you know,
lizard brain, or
people
like
in your mind.
that mind chatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you
The
know,
mindset.
we don't live in isolation. And this is again something which, when we're shifting into the new paradigm of the world, that it is about inclusivity and connection and community, and that we're all keys to unlock different parts of each other. There's no ways you can figure it all out alone. If you've got something you excel at, it's like, well, adding someone new into the mix is going to be a new combination. It's going to help you then put different things together. You know, my expertise is I come from absolute chaos. So I'm really good in chaos at drawing the elements that work and making something beautiful out of that. And then, yeah, it's physically manifested. Like I started, my first paycheck was when I was 9 years old. My first trade was on the school field when I was 5. I was trading then. I'm like, that's how my brain naturally works. How do I put things together, make it something real, make more, do it again, do it again. So when I see someone's genius, it is easy for me to go, oh, okay, now that mixed with this, next with that, that's a package. Like, and that's commercially viable, because it has to be real world viable. Like, you could be on the phone all day for the rest of your life, but you would never make a living. It's like, you've got to put it into your business. Like, what's your business? What's not your business? So I help people determine that, both personally and professionally, so that they can then have a thriving business from it. And that's what I've been doing now lately. Like my latest training, which evolves over the years. So last year was Simply Irresistible, how to create multiple irresistible offers. And this year, after a year of like running with that, it is how to make your business your sugar daddy so you can move to your beach house. So like, it's super playful and fun, but it's like, yeah, like, let your business take care of you and you get on with your life and you have fun, but let your business pay for you. Right. And then your lover and your partner can be whoever you want, but your lover is not your sugar daddy. Your lover is not your bank ticket. That's not the person who pays. Your business is what's going to sort you out. So get that sorted, so the rest of your life can be open for pleasure and unexpected magic and romance. I
love it. Wow, I'm in your whirlwind and I love it. And I'm so grateful that I'm a part of it. I would love you to, if you could just share how people get in touch with you if they're not already following you. Yeah, they should. The best way is to go to my website, laurenwallett.com, with 2 T's, and then you can join my VIP list and you get immediate access into my play group, which is the Creative Business School play group on Facebook. I'm doing live training there every week. I've got bunches of freebies on my freebie page. And on Instagram, you can follow me if you're looking for business advice at The Creativity Coach. And my personal page is at Lauren Wallett, but that's super random. That's like me eating pizza on the beach. That's like living my life. But for business, tangible business advice, at The Creativity Coach, and then laurenwallett.com. Yes, and I will definitely share that when this goes public. But I honestly, I love your energy. I love everything that you've said today. Has been great insights. For a lot of the people who are going through divorce in different stages, really different stages. So, you know, everyone has their own timeline and their path, but thank you for sharing your story. Pleasure. Great to see you. Thank you. Okay. How do I share this?